everyone, and welcome to our webinar on membership categories groups presented by Member 365. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Christine Bundy. I am the Director of Customer Success, and fun fact is I love questions. So if you have questions at all throughout the presentation, please put them into the Q&A. I actually have them on my second screen here, so if I see them as we go, I may answer them. We also have Q&A at the end because everyone has been muted. All cameras are turned off. Today's session is being recorded, so if you have those questions, you can put them in the Q&A. If you want to ask them afterwards, we can discuss them afterwards as well. For today's session, we last week went over all of the basics, so how to create a membership and how to do an individual membership. And this week, we're going to go into the group section of that. So I'm going to start off with kind of clearing up some definitions and then going through the setup and then how to actually run an organization or group membership. So group and organization membership are the same thing, just so everyone is aware of that. So if I kind of use either of those terms, they do mean the same thing. So first, let's jump into those definitions. And again, just for those who are just jumping in now, today's session is being recorded and it will be up on our YouTube channel. So first off is for group or organization membership categories, there is always a primary contact. They are the person that is like the front facing. So yes, an organization membership is for the organization, but there needs to be someone that is responsible for it, that is like the face for the company. So it's like your point of contact. So like, for example, we using our system always have a point of contact or who is the most used administrator, so we know who to contact if something were to come up or if they need to help with bills or anything along those lines, or if we have any updates that require their attention. Then you have the secondary contact. Now, you can have multiple secondary contacts. You can only have one primary. Secondary contacts allow you to do everything the primary does, so they can assign roles and for the organization, and they can also be CC'd on the behalf of the primary. So they could be an admin assistant, they could be a co-owner, anything along those lines, but there needs to be one primary, and then you can have secondary contacts. Then you have billing. The billing contact is the individual for the group that is going to pay the renewal reminder, the fees for the membership. So they will be sent the automated renewal reminders. Now, you can have the primary be the billing contact and then have another billing contact, but someone always has to have the billing contact role, the primary role, and the last role, the membership management role. So those three have to be assigned to either one person or three individuals or two individuals, but they each have to be assigned to someone. You can't have a seat package and not have someone to manage that on their end. So that's the billing contact. The membership manager is the person who controls who on their team, who gets added as an employee or group member, who gets removed, so who gets access to the system under their umbrella for the membership. Finally, the last option is the employee or group accounts. So they are the individuals or members that are under that organization or group and are treated as members and granted access in the member portal as members, but they have no responsibilities whatsoever unless one of them is assigned one of the other roles, if they're assigned a secondary, billing, or membership manager. Okay, so those are our definitions. Let's jump into Member 365 and we can go through the setup and then we'll go through how you assign roles and how you add employees and all that fun stuff. So right from the admin dashboard, I'm going to go up to membership and category setup. Now, one thing I will mention, if you don't see what I'm seeing, it means you do not have admin permissions. So if you need access to these type of things, make sure you talk to your admin manager. Here at Member 365, we cannot grant or remove any admin permissions for security purposes. So you have to ask your admin manager for that. Always make sure you have two admin managers. Best practice. So I'm going into category setup and I'm going to go to my group membership. That's the one we're going to look at today. Again, this says corporate, same thing, organization, corporate, They're all group memberships that have additional accounts under them. When I scroll down, there are types of memberships. So there are two group types. There is this one where it's for organization or groups, and then there's this other one that says family. These work exactly the same. There is no difference between this type or this type. The only thing that is different is I can customize what this is labeled as. So if I wanted it to say chapters, I could. It's really easy to do. If I open settings in a new window, there's the ability to change custom type. So you can click here and you're able to change family to say chapters or anything, but you can only change it to one thing. So if it's something specific that you want to, you can change it. Family is the most common and chapters is the other most common. So you can update that as needed. If it's just strictly an organization membership, you can stick with the one that we have here. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these items. I'm just going to touch on a couple because of the difference between individual versus group. Now, one thing that is different is that if you have a group membership, it is mandatory to have an organization name or group name. And the reason for that is because there needs to be a way for the employees and the primary to be related and connected. And it's through the organization that we do that. This is why it's really important that you make sure that you have a clean organization list so that if people spell things differently, they're not going to be related, which means you can't have roles or they can't be connected. You can only have a role in a group membership if you're attached to that organization. You can't be in one organization and have a role in the second organization. They have to be on that same organization. So I always recommend turning on the drop down and the add button so that it limits that and makes it a lot cleaner lists. Since we've added this, I've noticed our lists have gotten really clean for our clients. There are still some that come through that you have to fix, but it's reduced significantly since we've added this feature. And that's for those. You can add the secondary contact for the group membership during the application process. They can do it within the system afterwards, so it doesn't have to be here, but it's optional. Then we have group memberships. This only appears here if it's a group organization membership. And then there are different ways for the group to work. So you can have it unlimited. So they pay a fee. So maybe they pay $1,000 and then they can add any employee under their organization as you want. You can limit it to only so many depending on your policies. Or you could do seat packages. And I see a lot of people do seat packages and it's really easy to do. So I could say that one seat is, and we're just gonna do simple math today, is $100. And so if they want to do 2 seats, it's going to be $200 and so on. And so you can purchase number of seats so that when they are purchasing the membership, or if they are purchasing in the store, they can buy additional seats at any time. And then you can allow it to appear. Seat package options are available on new and applicants. So I'm actually going to leave this one on for today's purposes so I can show you how you can do a purchase and how you can set up in the store. If they aren't allowed to have any, there is none. So it could be just an organization where no one else other than the primary gets access. That is possible. It's a group membership, but it just doesn't have those additional members. So that's when you would have the none option. Then we're going to go down and see what are the permissions. So for the individuals that we add, what are the permissions that we want? I always like to have this say no. So what it does is whoever's the membership manager can go in and add and remove the group members on behalf of their organizations. You as administrators can do it as well, but they can also go in and just check to verify, like, yes, these are the people that are supposed to be in here, because companies have people come and go at the time. You can have the directory show and allow the group members to be in the directory. And then you can see what items can they see. Can they see the store, job board? If they are supposed to have full access, I like having everything on. If it's supposed to be limited, you can remove certain items if they're only for the primary. Then allowing the primary to invite them. So granting them access to the member portal. Again, this depends on your policies if you're going to have this on or not. I like having it on because it allows them to get access. It's also, if they're switching from primary to someone else, they're already familiar with the system. Then we have contact tags. This is not used very often. I'm going to be very frank. It's used for a few clients that want to allow the primary to add specific tags. So you can create a tag for them if you want. So I can just create a tag, and then that tag is available for the primary to add to someone that they're adding in the system. Again, this is not a common one, but it is something that I always like you to be aware of. And you can have a little description as to for how this kind of works or how it should work for the primary. Next, we have recognized domain. So this is if you have unlimited. So if you go back up here and you have unlimited, so anybody who's in that organization has the same domain in the email address as the primary does, they can automatically get added because of their domain to that group membership. So whether they go in through events, whether they make a purchase in the store, or whether they do an online course, anything of those would automatically put them as a group member. And so they would get that group pricing. So this is something that you can turn on automatically, but it's always based off the primary. If you are brand new and you're importing your data, you want to import people as employees for everyone that you have that should be under that, and then it's going forward. So whenever you turn this on, it's for going forward. If you have it on and you're like, I don't know who's an employee and who's not, it won't automatically go through Member 365's database. It's only for when new people come into the system that this will work. So just something to be aware of. If you want to turn this on, we can do an import update to make everybody employees for you automatically, but it would require an import. Then you can also determine if those people should get, no, hold on, I have this. Yeah, so if for what, so how they come in. So as I said, this can get turned on, and then choose what actions would grant them their account. Would it be for registration, manual created, any of these options? You would just check them off. You can check all of them off, and then they would get that access. Linking, so you can also, if you want to link the contact to the recognized domain of a related organization, you can also have that turned on as well. If it's because you can, in the organization record, add additional domains. So if one organization has more than one domain, they might have the primary. You can go into the organization record and add additional domains if you want. Now, for today's purposes, I'm going to turn these off because it's not something that we are going to play around with, but it is an option that is available that I always like to share. So I made some updates, so I'm going to save. And then we're going to go and actually test the membership to show you what those seat packages look like. I'm just waiting for the green bar. Once the green bar, you know it's saved. I'm going to grab this link and test it out. Oh, I have it doubled in there. Hold on. Let's go into incognito. Always best when testing to go into incognito so you're not signed in. There we go. All right, so I can put in my email address. Now I'm already in the system, so it's going to tell me that I have an account. So therefore it's going to send me an activation link so I can verify who I am. If you're testing, what you can do is put the plus sign and then some numbers, and then redo it, and it will treat you as a brand new email address. It still goes to your email unless you have, there was an exception, Edge. Edge does not allow you to do this. So I just have to fill in the mandatory fields that we've already created. And then we go through and do our disclaimers. Yes, we agree. Oh, organization, see, it was mandatory, made me go back. And then you can pay and go through the process here. Now, one thing that I am going to do for test purposes is when you are testing, so that you don't have to enter a credit card, is make sure you have check enabled. So that when we go back to our test, we can go back and refresh. Sorry, add phone number. There we go. There we go. Now I can select check and we can go through the approval process. So I can exit here and I can go up to my dashboard or to my membership statistics. And here's where you will see applications pending review. And mine should be right on top. There it is. And I can approve the membership and mark it as paid. Always test memberships whenever you're creating new ones or making adjustments, even if it's something small, go through the process just in case. A few times I've had people update forms and didn't realize they changed something that they shouldn't have, and then wondering why it's not working. Testing is always best practice to do. So you can send the welcome email or the approved email. Now, not everyone sends this email because this person's brand new. They're going to also get the welcome email. So I don't want the person getting the same two emails at once. So I'll skip it. And then I'm going to mark this as paid. So that welcome email goes out. So now on the individual's contact record, also going to, oh, looks like I did the wrong one. So you can also enroll someone into this group category setup as well, so that they have their group membership, and we can adjust that. So just for today's purposes. And I'm going to go over to the organization record. So over here, I can see that I'm the primary. I have a billing contact. I have a membership manager. I am both of those things. You can have custom roles. So there are some custom roles in here. You can create those under your membership settings. So under your membership settings, you can create the different roles that you may want. They have no other association other than for your internal tracking. And so people can add them, but you can create your own custom roles that will appear on the side here. So that's an option that is available for you. So when I come over to roles over here, I would select which of the primaries I want it if you have multiples, because you could have different departments that have their own group membership under the same organization. I can edit this, or I can add someone else that is related to my organization, and I can assign them to be the other roles, and I can send them the welcome email at the same time on the admin side. If I impersonate the primary, they can also do this. They can also, if you go to employee accounts, add employees. Now, if they are already in the system, you want to send an invite. If they are not in the system, you do not want to go create an account. You simply want to come here and click create account, because it does everything for you and it's less steps. So if I needed to create an account, I could do that, and I could just fill in the information that I need to. And so that is an option that is available. And then you can send them the welcome email so they can get access to the portal. So when you add them, this is the email. You can update it as needed, but they get their login credentials and then can get access to the system. If I impersonate, so let's go impersonate the primary, Christine, and we are going to show you that you can also do it in the member portal. So in here, I can go up to my account and I can go to roles. And again, it's the exact same process it is in the CRM. They can come in and they can update or add different roles. The individuals, though, have to be related. They have to be within the same organization. So again, I can have two people as membership managers and as billing contacts. I can only have one primary. You at a minimum have to have someone that is a primary, a billing contact, and a membership manager. They cannot be left out because somebody has to be able to do those roles. Secondary is only optional because you have the primary contact. You can also come into the employees, and then this is where the primary or membership manager, the membership manager come in and make adjustments so they can add people, remove people as needed, or send those invites. If you're limiting, if you don't want them to, you can remove the invites where they can simply just add. So that is part of the permissions that we looked at. And there is an export for them. So if they need to do comparisons between their current list and other lists, they have that option as well. Now, one other thing that I also wanted to go over was seat packages. So I'm just going to go quickly back. I don't know why that's saved. So let's go into our group membership. And we're going to add those seat packages. And then I'm going to go back to mine. Might be in here a few dozen times. So this one's pending. So I can go in and approve. And I can add seat packages here. Now, you can also add them to the store. So if at any time they want to create or add someone else, so maybe it's like halfway through the year, but they want to add another person, you can add seats. And to do that, you're simply going to go into membership seats, where it's then going to give you which categories, so it's for our group category, and then which package. So you could have multiples where you have a 1 seat or 2 seat, or they can simply just say, oh, I'm going to purchase 3 of the 1 seats, and it does it automatically. You want to make it unlimited unless you want to limit it to so many. You could have a separate ledger and then having it appear. It will only appear for the people that are within this membership category that have the roles to be able to do it. It won't appear for, if I have a group member and a corporate member, I will only see the group member seats. I won't see the corporate member seats. So if you have multiples, so I have some associations that have gold, silver, bronze. If I'm a gold member, I only see the gold ones. I only see them if I'm the primary billing contact. I don't see them if I'm an employee. So it restricts who has access to make those purchases to be able to make sure it's going to the right people. So now if you go back into the portal and go to the store, I'll only see seats that are available to me. And because as my administrator, I don't have that group account, I don't see them. But if I then go back and impersonate, we go back and impersonate the one with the account, they will see it. Because I see the seats because I have this membership where the other one did not. So those are options that are available with seats if you're trying to get people. Otherwise, you can have unlimited or other options. All right, so let's jump in now to some best practices. So let's go back to our slide deck. Some best practices as we were going through is one primary. Only have one primary for every organization or group membership. You can have secondaries, but the primary, there's only one. Make sure that you test when you're going through, even if you're making small updates, just to make sure that it's all working and you understand the approval process for that. Make sure that when you're adding employees, if they're brand new, go to the organization record or impersonate the primary to add them in. Otherwise, you'll have to create an account and then do a send invite. It's just a little bit longer of a process. Instead of 1 click, it's 20 clicks. Then transfer primaries. So actually, it's one thing I didn't go over. So don't ever delete a primary unless you've transferred the membership. So even if you put it as someone else that is related temporarily, if you don't know who the person will be until later, make sure you transfer it to someone that is still in the organization, and then you can transfer it before you delete that primary person. I've had people accidentally delete the primary and then the membership's gone and then all of the employees are gone and they have to re-add everything. So it's just a common mistake that I see. So something to take into consideration. All right, questions. I love questions. So here are the one. Can a custom membership type be associated to the organization membership? The custom chapter membership is a child of a parent organization. If you have a chapter, even if the membership is called chapters, you can't link two memberships together. So like one pays for the other in relation to organizations or like different chapters. You can have a chapter pay and then individuals, like my chapter pays for the entire membership And then I, as an individual, because that chapter has an active membership, I don't have to pay anything when I sign up as an individual member because my chapter's done it. And then they can have the same organization or they have to have the same chapter or organization name for that to work, which I did mention in the last webinar. So you can have a kind of child-parent relation between an organization and an individual, but not between two organizations, if that makes sense. Let me know if you have any other questions about that. If you do have any other questions and they haven't come up today, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. If you're thinking about creating an organization membership and like to have a conversation, reach us as well. I love having those. It's always best to have our experience when you're creating those just to make sure they're set up correctly. And I'm more than happy to have those phone calls. So just let us know. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure having you, and we look forward to seeing you next time.